Hello, neighbors. The City of Cambridge is committed to protecting and improving water quality for recreational use and public health for citizens of Cambridge today, tomorrow, and the future through its stormwater management program. The program puts forth actionable and measurable goals to improve stormwater water quality and includes requirements under the Environmental Protection Agency's Municipal Separate Storm Sewer Systems Permit, also known as the MS4 permit. We want to hear from you. We encourage you to submit your feedback about the city's stormwater efforts to stormwater@cambridgema.gov with stormwater comments in the subject line of the email. In this video, we will discuss what stormwater is and how it affects you. We'll also look at the city's stormwater management program and its permit requirements. We'll take a look at what Cambridge has been doing and what you can do. And you'll also learn how you can provide feedback on the city's stormwater management plan. From residents of all ages to businesses to developers to contractors to institutions, you and your community play an important part in protecting and improving our waters. What is stormwater? Stormwater is water that originates from precipitation, like rain and when snow and ice melt. Once stormwater reaches the ground, it can either soak into the earth in pervious areas like rain gardens, grassy lawns, and porous pavement, which also help remove pollutants from the water. Or the stormwater can run off impervious surfaces like paved streets and rooftops that don't allow stormwater to soak into the ground. Stormwater that does not soak into the ground then runs off into your stormwater system through catch basins and is discharged typically into local waterways without receiving any treatment to improve the water quality. So, what's the problem? Pollutants like antifreeze, grease, oil, and heavy metals from cars, fertilizers, pesticides, and other chemicals from gardens, homes, and businesses, bacteria from improper disposal of pet waste, and sediment from poor construction site practices can collect on impervious surfaces. When it rains, stormwater runs off impervious surfaces, picking up pollutants along the way, and flows to catch basins and then to local waterways. This impacts water quality, marine life, recreational use, aesthetics, and even public health. The requirements of Cambridge's Stormwater Management Plan and MS4 permit apply to any stormwater that is discharged from the storm drain system into local waterways. The best way to protect our waterways is to prevent pollutants from reaching them. The second best is practicing proactive strategies that improve water quality. So, which local waterways do stormwater discharges end up in? Well, Cambridge is part of the Charles River and Mystic River watersheds, which means any drop of rain or snowmelt in Cambridge ends up in the Charles River watershed via the Charles River and the Mystic River watershed via Wellington Brook, Little River, and Alewife Brook. Stormwater discharges to these rivers are covered under the MS4 permit. Cambridge is one of the most downstream communities to discharge into these watersheds. The city also has other water bodies such as Jerry's Pond and Fresh Pond, which are part of the Mystic River watershed, and Miller's River, which is part of the Charles River watershed. These water bodies do not have any discharges that are subject to the MS4 permit. Cambridge is not the only community in each of these watersheds. There are other communities up and downstream of Cambridge that also impact the quality of water in the Charles River and Alewife Brook. Each is doing its part to protect and improve water quality through stormwater management programs. We all live in a watershed and can make a difference in protecting our water resources. Let's take a look back at what has been accomplished in the last 70 years. The Federal Water Pollution Control Act of 1948 was the first major U.S. law to address water pollution. In 1972, a number of amendments were passed, and the law became commonly known as the Clean Water Act. The National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System was one of these amendments, which prohibits discharges of pollutants from any source into any waterways except as allowed under a permit. Cambridge began a series of projects in 1973 to prevent sewage from entering its waterways. Many of those efforts continue today, like separating the stormwater systems from the sewage system so sewage doesn't flow to local waterways during heavy precipitation events. The Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, issued its final general permit for stormwater discharges from small MS4, which was effective May 1, 2003 through June 30, 2018. EPA then issued the 2016 MS4 General Permit, which became effective July 1, 2018, and is currently active. This is the permit we will discuss in greater detail throughout this video. As part of this permit, each community is required to develop a stormwater management program that includes the requirements of the MS4 permit. You may be wondering if the MS4 permit has had any effect in Cambridge so far. It has. Water quality has improved or remained the same in Cambridge. In the Charles River watershed, Cambridge's stormwater drainage system discharges to what is considered the Charles River Lower Basin. EPA rated the Lower Basin a D in 1995 and rated it a B in 2019. The Mystic River watershed was rated a D overall by EPA in 2006. In 2014, segments of the Mystic River, including the Little River and Alewife Brook, were rated separately. The Little River went from a rating of D- to D+, and the Alewife Brook maintained a D rating from 2014 to 2019. So, how does the stormwater management program improve water quality? It is easier to keep pollutants out of the water in the first place than it is to clean up the pollutants once pollution has occurred. The objective of the city stormwater management plan is to reduce pollutants from entering the stormwater systems to the maximum extent practicable, protect water quality, and meet the requirements under the Clean Water Act through 6 minimum control measures, also known as MCMs. The measures are public education and outreach, public involvement and participation, illicit discharge detection and elimination, construction site stormwater runoff control, post-construction stormwater management, and good housekeeping and pollution prevention for operations. The first MCM is public education and outreach. This objective requires the city to develop and implement an ongoing public education and outreach program with focused educational messages for residents, businesses and institutions, developers and contractors, and industrial facilities. The city uses different approaches to provide public education and outreach. Some topics covered include proper leaf litter management, proper pet waste disposal, minimizing de-icers, proper sediment and erosion control, proper storage of chemicals on site, and equipment maintenance and inspection. You will find this information in printed materials, electronic materials, mass media, social media, targeted workshops, events, or public area displays. We even have our own yellow ducky mascot to promote this. What can you do? Visit the DPW Stormwater webpage often and subscribe to DPW Facebook and Twitter posts. The second MCM is public involvement and participation, which provides opportunities for the public to participate in the review and implementation of the Stormwater Management Plan. This video is one of the many ways the city provides an opportunity to review the Stormwater Management Plan. The city also holds and attends public events and meetings for the public to provide feedback on the plan. What can you do? You can attend city events, participate in city services such as Household Hazardous Waste Day and Yard Waste Pickup Days, or review the full stormwater management plan on the city's stormwater management webpage and share your feedback by emailing stormwater@cambridgema.gov with stormwater comments in the subject line of the email. The third MCM is the Illicit Discharge Detection and Elimination Program, which is a program to find and eliminate discharges into the stormwater system that are not entirely stormwater. Only rain should go down the drain. The city developed a program that inspects and maps its infrastructure to identify potential problems like leaking and improperly connected pipes and structural problems in its stormwater system. This includes inspecting drainage pipes by video and through dye tests, sampling outfalls, removing illicit connections, and holding annual city employee training. As a result, since the late 1990s, the city has mapped its infrastructure and outfalls in its Geographic Information System, removed more than 250 illicit connections, and separated more than 486 common manholes. What can you do? Remember that only rain goes down the drain, not pet waste, paints, oils, trash, or other pollutants. Since catch basins are connected to our waterways, anything that goes down the catch basin can end up in our waterways. Take advantage of the city services by dropping off oils and chemicals at a household hazardous waste day and bagging your leaf litter for yard waste pickup. And remember, if you see something, say something. You can report illegal dumping by using the Commonwealth Connect app or website, or by calling DPW. The fourth MCM is Construction Site Stormwater Runoff Control, which is a program to reduce pollutants from construction activities. The city's land disturbance regulations require that developers or contractors of large projects submit an erosion and sediment control plan that summarizes steps they will take to reduce construction pollutants from entering the stormwater system. These measures include items such as protection of catch basins, street sweeping, and covering soil piles. During construction, the city regularly inspects these sites to ensure control measures are in place and working. It's not just large projects that need to maintain good erosion and sediment control practices. All construction activities must control erosion and sediment from their activities. What can you do? If there is construction on your property, keep your sites clean by implementing and properly maintaining sediment controls. If you see sediment entering a catch basin from a construction site, report issues through the Commonwealth Connect app or website, or by calling DPW, and someone from the city will follow up. The fifth MCM is Post-Construction Stormwater Management, which is a measure to reduce pollutants in runoff from new construction projects once the project is completed and into the future. The city's land disturbance regulations require certain projects to meet standards intended to improve water quality and to mitigate potential flooding impacts. Standards include installing on-site stormwater controls to treat and infiltrate stormwater, and can also include reducing impervious areas and installing stormwater infrastructure. The city requires private developments to maintain their stormwater best management practices and conducts inspections to ensure compliance. The city maintains a number of implemented stormwater infrastructure measures, including the Alewife stormwater wetland seen here, bioretention systems, porous pavement, and infiltration systems. What can you do? Maintenance is the key to the success of any pollution prevention measure. Continue to regularly maintain stormwater systems and keep a record of the maintenance. You can look for ways to further reduce impervious areas and reduce runoff from leaving your property, such as by installing rain barrels to collect rainwater to reuse, disconnecting and redirecting downspouts to pervious areas, installing rain gardens, installing porous pavement, and planting trees. The sixth and final MCM is Good Housekeeping and Pollution Prevention for Operations, which is an operation and maintenance program for all municipal facilities and infrastructure like streets, parks, and catch basins. Cambridge developed various operation and maintenance programs for city-owned infrastructure. These programs include inspections of its more than 130 properties, routine cleaning of approximately 6,000 catch basins, sweeping all roadways and parking lots, reducing the use of fertilizers in city-owned spaces, inspecting stormwater treatment systems, and conducting winter road maintenance, which includes piloting ways to reduce the use of salts and implementing a brine pretreatment program. What can you do to help? A lot, actually. You can install a rain barrel or rain garden, properly dispose of your pet waste, test your soil and switch to phosphate-free fertilizers, use less salt or switch to a salt alternative during the winter time, and clear loose leaves from your property and along your gutter line. Every bit helps and every bit counts. EPA has heightened its focus on certain water bodies that have elevated levels of specific pollutants. EPA has created special requirements that are aimed to reduce the amount of pollutant each municipality releases into the water body. For Cambridge, both the Charles River and Alewife Brook have elevated levels of phosphorus and bacteria. Phosphorus is a naturally occurring nutrient, and when in excess is considered a pollutant in the environment. Excessive phosphorus in water bodies can come from excessive or improper use of fertilizers, deteriorating leaves and yard waste, improper disposal of pet waste, and illicit connections where sewage can enter the drainage system. When this happens, algae growth increases and can result in algae blooms that can harm humans and pets upon contact, kill fish, and harm the marine ecosystem. Bacteria are microscopic single-celled organisms that are naturally present in the environment. Some of these organisms are associated with human or animal activities, and in excess can be detrimental to the environment. Sources of excessive bacteria include improper disposal of pet waste and illicit connections where sewage can enter the drainage system, posing significant risks to public health if contact occurs. Excessive bacteria in water bodies can also impact recreational activities such as swimming and boating. The city is committed to proactively reducing phosphorus and bacteria entering catch basins and water bodies by providing educational materials, providing yard waste pickup, identifying and removing illicit connections, and developing a phosphorus control plan. What can you do? You can clean up and properly dispose your yard waste, pick up after your pet and properly dispose the waste in the trash, and test your soil to determine if you can minimize or use phosphate-free fertilizers. Now it's your turn. We want to know what you think about the city's efforts and the city's stormwater management plan. You can review the full report on the city's stormwater management webpage and share your feedback by emailing your comments to stormwater@cambridgema.gov with stormwater comments in the subject line of the email. Your input will help us improve the water quality of the Charles River and Alewife Brook. Remember, you play an important role in making a difference for our waters. Cleaner water starts with you. Think blue, Cambridge.